Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the second edition of the variables and data in Python. Why I call it the second edition is that we were supposed to finish it just in one series, lecture three, and which was quite impossible for us to be able to finish it. And today, again, I want to believe that if we go straight to the point, we should be able to finish it up now. This is the series of learning Python and learning database in 30 minutes for 30 days, and you become a pro. And that's why that your knowledge can be from zero, it's going to be zero. Then after 30 days, you are supposed to be an hero in that area, that is in Python. Don't forget, we said that Python is nothing but the language in which the computer understand the language of data science. And we look at the relevance and the application of data science, and which we see very, very well that it is going to be the literacy of the future, because that is where the world is going to revolve around, be it an entrepreneur, be it industries, are you in businesses, wherever are you, or you want to use data to be able to make an informed consent about how you are going to live your life and some other things. You actually need data and data science, and that is why we actually need to understand uh, better the language of data science. And as a kind of analogy, you will see and you want to agree with me that somebody that has a universal language, if you can, if you understand beyond your mother's tongue, that is in terms of literacy this time around. If you understand beyond your mother's tongue, I'm very sure that that means you'll be able to move around and move and be acceptable in wherever you might visit. That's the same way where if you understand Python, if you understand Python as a language of the computer, as a language of the future, as a universal language, I want to believe that you are going to have wide and wider coverage and acceptance in case it's as the case may be. So, without wasting our time, let's go straight and let's go to our working environment, and that is in Google Colab. Time will fail us because we have already seen why do we have to use Google Colab for all this. I told you that it is the freest, it is available and most accessible because it is web based. So you are so sure that wherever you get into, you can still pick it up anytime you come across. So let's be focused and let's go straight to our notebook. Okay, we move from Google and we will visit Google Colab. Okay, so Google Colab. So you can see it here, and you click here just as you know because you have already registered, and because we are already working on it, just open, not new notebook. Oh, you don't need new notebook again. What you need now is to open the old notes you have been working with, and this time, in this case, the collab notebook that we have been working with was titled Python, if you can still remember, and that is what we are going to do. Okay, Python for beginners. So just click to open it so that you see where you it's just like writing your picking notes for chemistry. You see, you are just going to resume into your notebook wherever you must have ended writing it. So the same thing with this. So we can see this is where we stopped the other time. Okay, so that was on correct indentation and white space. So I told you that if you are dealing with conditionals, if you are dealing with loop, that you have to repeat tasks over and over without typing it. That is in loop. So if you are using that, you have to be very, very careful so as to not to leave uh, space, because that is called indentation. So it's going to you see the computer is going to understand space or interpret space in another form. So that is why correct indentation and a white space is very, very important that you obey the structure. Okay. Now, today, because of our time, we want to look at key terms in today's this is lecture 3. So sorry, lecture 3 series 2. Because we were unable to finish it, series 2, lecture 3 series 2. Okay. um I told you we have to be careful of the spelling and the error. So we are going to look at the title of this lecture. Our focus is going to be first key terms, key Python terms. That is key terms in Python. Okay, and the first one we will look at, is what do we mean by program? Program is what? Program is a key term in Python. So wherever you write program, Python understand it in their own language. That's a meaning. Okay. So in the language of the computer, this is a set of instruction. Is a set of actionable. Let's put it that way. Actionable. That is, we are giving instruction for computer to carry out. Set of actionable instruction for computer to execute. Okay, that is the first one. Another key terms and terminologies we are going to look at is what we call the interpreter. What do we mean by interpreter? That is another key term. So interpreter is a tool. It is a tool that runs. Sorry. It's a tool that runs your Python code. Okay, that is an interpreter. Okay, that runs your Python code. Then another key terms we are going to look at is syntax. What do you mean by syntax? When you come across a syntax, so that is the grammar rule. You see, every language has gotten its own set of grammar, its own set of words, grammar to use. So the grammar of Python is called what? The grammar rules. Like when you are talking of a conditional statement in English, or you are talking of concord, which is agreement between verb and what? And a noun. Okay, which is the agreement. For example, when you use is, everyone is. So not everyone were or everyone are, no. Because everyone is singular, what's going to follow it must be singular as well. That is if we are talking about grammar. But in this one, in Python 2, there are set of rules that you obey in Python, and all these rules are collectively known as what? They are collectively known as a syntax. That's why anytime you make any mistake, it's going to tell you that it's a syntax error. Okay. Now, another thing is error. What do we mean by error? In computer, in Python. So that is another key word or key terms or terminologies in Python. So anywhere you see that, it is going to understand it. So error, these are sets. These are sets of codes that computer, that Python, your Python cannot understand. So it's going to bring it in form of error. Okay, please, after you must have known that, now let's start applying um all these keywords one after the other. We might not apply it once, but once you know it, as we proceed, you continue to get yourself familiarized with them. Okay. Now, I have told you I said something about comments. We said something about comments. Okay. Let's say, for example, you want to store name. Okay. Example, which you can call example one. So that is storing your name. You want to store your name. What you do? Just write, okay, store name. So move to the code. So just write name is equal to because it is in text, it has to be in quotes. Is equal to Adeolu. Okay. So and if you are to print, that is, you want computer to print name, you will see. So it has printed your name. Then another thing is, if you want to store, another example is when you want to storing of your age. Storing of age. Don't forget that age is going to be in numbers. Okay. So if it's going to be in number, how can you store it in that? So just go to code, storing of age. So let's say your age is age. You define it. That is going to be your comment. Is equal to 55. Let's say you are 55 years old. So just write print age, and that's all. Print the age of that person. So your outputs, all these are called outputs. They are called outputs. So if you are writing, if you are jotting anything down, always put this to be an output. Okay, put this to be an output. This is going to be the input. Age is equal to 55. Print age. So your output is going to be like that. Okay. Now we have really defined what variables are. We define variable as a box with different names on it. Now, I want you to believe, I want you to know another word, another definition you can give to a variable is that variables are imagine as containers that hold different kind of data. Different kinds of data. Okay. So I want you to look at variable in that perspective. So the name is now going to be the label on that container. So name is going to be the label on the container. Okay. So we should be able to know that. Now, after all the keywords and key terminologies that we have actually looked at when we look at what is program, what is a syntax, what do we understand by error, what is an interpreter. So the next thing for us is to be able to look at what are the rules that govern variables. So what are those rules that govern variables? Number one, you must know that names can contain letters, can contain numbers, and underscore. You know what underscore is? Underscore is like this. You print your sheets and you type, okay, that is underscore. Names can contain letters, it can contain numbers, it can also contain what? Underscore. Another thing that you need to bear in mind is just like the rules. The rules in Yoruba has its own rules. In other languages, in English, it has its own rule like that. So variables cannot start with a number, although it contains letters, numbers, and underscore, but it cannot start with number. For example, variables cannot start with two are they? No, it's not possible for you to have that. Okay, then you should know, I've also mentioned this, that names are case sensitive. Names are case sensitive. That is the way computers or the Python will read sensitive. The way Python will read lowercase is quite different from the same way Python is going to read uppercase. For example, when you have something like this, age, like this, and age, like this, they are different. They are what? Different. You must know that. Okay, then if you want to abbreviate at all, for example, make sure you abbreviate very, very well. That is going to have meaning. So you use short but meaningful abbreviation or meaningful names. So you cannot use, for example, you cannot use S to stand for score. It is not possible, it is not acceptable. So that's the reason why you have to master the rules of the game, the rules of you combining variables together. All these are very, very important. So you should know. The first one is that names can contain letters, it can contain numbers, and it can be made up of what? Underscores. Then a name or a variable cannot start with number. Name starts with number. Names are case sensitive. Age is quite different from age. Okay, that is different. Now let's go to the another thing. Let's go and look at examples. Let's go to code. We have finished with code, text area. Let's go to the code. Now, if you have an example, you write student underscore name. Okay, let's say it is equal to Ade. So if you want to print, so you have to print students underscore name. Okay, it's going to help you to print it. What happened? Oh, see, because of the spelling error. That's why. So we have to be very, 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 very careful so that we do not misspell any. So, see. has executed that as well. So another example now, whereby you have rule 2 that we said a name cannot start with a number. Let us now see, let's say you have two, you have name, true name is equal to Ade. So now ask your computer to print true name. Let's see if it's going to print it. It's error. It's going to give you error. So to actually tell you that you cannot start uh, with that. Okay. So another thing is let's now go to another thing that we also need to learn today. So don't forget that we said our focus is variables and data. Okay, we have actually seen different types of variables like comments, name, age, output. Okay, and I made mention of output and some other things. Now let's go to, and we have been able to see what are the rules that guide naming variables. And we look at names does not contain, names can contain letters, can contain numbers and underscore. Then it cannot start with a what? With a number. Name is very sensitive to case. Age, that is capital A, is different from small letter this, and you should use meaningful short form. Meaningful, it has to be short, it has to be meaningful. Then the next thing is we want to look at types of data, different types of data in Python. Types of data in Python. Okay, so number one is if you have name like is equal to Ada, like this. This one is called a string. This one is called a string. Text, because it is in text, in alphabet. It is called a string in computer. Then occasion 2, if you have something like age, which is like 25, this one is called the integer. It's an integer. Okay, you have to know integer, not integer. Integer. Then if you now have decimal, like height, if the height is equal to 1.8 or 1.5, this one is called a float. Anything decimal is called a float. Decimal is called what? A float. Okay, so another one is if you have if statement, that is, for example, is underscore students, is underscore students, which is equal to false, true. Anything true or false, these are called boolean. Boolean. Boolean or boolean. Okay, so please, I want you to take note of this. We have mentioned string, integer, and we have mentioned strings, text, integer, numbers, height, decimal, true or false. That is a boolean. A boolean. Okay. Now let us now see. Let's go to the code area, code working area, and let us type. Let's type name is equal to Ada. Okay, let's say we don't know, let's assume we do not know whether it is a string, whether it is a boolean, whether it is a integer, or whether it is a float. We don't know at all. But you come across name which is equal to Ada. So what you do, if you want to know, you just write print type. This is the structure. So you open the brackets, print type, name, you now put name in that bracket. So you execute. So you can see it is already telling you that it is a string. It is a string. Okay. Now let us now see another example. Let's say you have um, we have numbers. Let's say we have numbers. Let's say we have okay, let's say we have age. Let's say we have age and you have 45. You have height, which is 0.34. So you now want to know whether it is integer, string, boolean, or a float. So just write print into type. You now open the brackets, age. Okay, so execute. It's telling you that it is an integer because you have printed the age. You now want to know the height, so you just write print type. Okay, type height. So you want to know whether it is what figure it is. So this one is a float. That is a float. So that is another example of a data what data. So now let's look at another example. Another example. Let's say we have is underscore um, underscore apprentice. Huh? So let's say which is true. Let's say the person is apprentice. Okay. You want to know, you want to print type. So you now put is underscore apprentice, and you want to know the data type apprentice, and you execute. That's classified it for you as a boolean. That's classified it for you as a boolean. So without wasting our timer is far gone. Don't forget that it is 30 minutes for 30 days. So I want you to go back home, go and think of other examples. Other examples. Don't forget that this is your notebook. Your notebook, if you just like ordinary um it's just like the normal classwork whereby, or the normal class course whereby you must have a notebook for it. So our Google Colab interface is a notebook where we can write. The only thing is that there are two different sections where you can write. Number one, the section you can write your text is different from the text from the section you will be able to write your code, or you'll be able to execute your code. Okay, and this is all what we have been saying all this while. So peradventure, maybe you want to somebody is asking you, somebody who is your friend has not been able to listen to this lecture series and is asking you to give you or borrow you his or her notes, what you should do, borrow here is just share. You share, just share it in form of what? So the person does not need to start writing again, writing. This time around, you just ask the person to share you. So, and once the person click on share, this is going to display. I've already told you about this. This is already going to display, and just go and click or enter the person's email. Enter the person's email and you just write, hi, Dari, find my notebook for your use. Thanks. So just like subject, thanks. So if you have any other message, you can really send through here, put it under here. So then you send. So the person is going to receive it instantly, so that you'll be able to go through. So without wasting our time, this is our notebook. This is our notebook. You can really go back and go and revisit, go and practice it over and over and over and over and over again. So make sure you open another one for your own practice instead of you to be doing it here. Just let this one be your chalkboard or your marker board, whereby we are going to do, the lecturer is going to make use of this as your marker board. You make sure you open a new notebook for you, for your own practice, for your own assignment. And if I ask you to share me or submit your assignment, you can just share me. Once you know my email, you can really share me. Okay. Just like I told you that we want everybody to get used to learn as a beginner, as somebody, and that's the reason why we don't want to rush all this. If it is just one thing that we can learn in a day, is quite different. I mean, it's better than us trying to learn and to learn everything at the same time, which at the end of the day is not going to help us. So I want to encourage you to always uh, my look for other series of my lectures, so that you'll be able to learn and be able to see the marker board and be able to see the notebook and correct yourself. Do all the assignments, don't forget, do all the assignments, do all the classwork in your notebook, so that later on you can easily explain to us. So we are still going to, because we also have a long way to go. We are going to work on using of shrink. We look at